Welcome back to Build Great Products. Today we're going to be looking at a product called Pickle, which is a Y-Combinator backed startup that promises to replace you on Zoom using AI. My name is Chris. For the last 15 years I've been designing digital products and advising startups. Today we're going to have a look at what are the good things with this product, what are the bad things with this product. I'm going to give you a few key insights that you can take away and apply to your own products when you're designing and building them, and then also answer the question of whether you should use this or not, and whether it can replace me in Zoom using AI. So let's get into the teardown and have a look at the product. This is Pickle, so let's have a quick look at the website just to get a sense of what it is they are promising that they can do here, and then we'll jump into the product and I'll go through some good things, some bad things, and some things that we can learn from Pickle. So it's pretty simple on the landing page. It just says replace your camera on Zoom, Twitch, TikTok and more, and then you can join Pickle there. It's got all these videos in the background, so you think, okay, these are all AI generated avatars of people, and these are the people that are replacing the avatars that are replacing people on Zoom. Yeah, we'll see. Here we go, how it works. Okay, so record a 5-minute video of yourself and wait 24 hours for AI to train your appearance. So that is a long time that it's going to take for it to actually train your avatar on this. But it might be worth it, I guess. What I'm trying to understand from the website initially is what is the main use case for this? Because my first thought was like, great, okay, AI is just going to take meetings for me, and it's going to be like my avatar speaking and then taking notes and stuff. But I know like it seems a big stretch for it to actually replace my interaction and personality and my knowledge and all of that stuff in an actual meeting. So surely it's just a facade over the top of me talking. So here's what it is. Load your AI body double. Pickle will show up in seconds. So I'm guessing like I would choose a camera on Zoom, and I'm going to choose so there it's on the second one there. I choose Pickle camera, and that's going to be the AI generated avatar of me that then talks. That's my camera feed. Your Pickle will lip sync to your voice in real time. This person's in the car taking a meeting. This is the primary use case that we're saying here. Like, you can take meetings when you're not at your desk, so you can just be going off and doing other stuff whilst also taking your meeting. There is something slightly problematic in that maybe you're not fully present for the meeting, but I also appreciate that lots of meetings don't actually need to happen, so maybe that's absolutely fine. And then when someone says, "Oh, Chris, what did you think about that?" I can go, "Yeah, sounds good." And my avatar will just be saying, "Yes, sounds good." And in real life, I'll actually be hanging the washing out on the line or taking my dog for a walk. Cool. All right. Hear from Picklers worldwide. I was able to take walks during meetings. Another one that's suggesting this is the primary use case for this. Just got set up with my live deep fake for Zoom. I don't think they want you thinking of this as like a deep fake. What is real anymore? Are these positive things? Like, maybe. Watch Gary's Pickle here. That seems... Yeah. Okay, I was expecting like testimonials a bit more here, where you can see like feedback or reviews from people, but it seems like it's just the noise on social. So basically lots of people are talking about this product on social and lots of people are using it, so it must be good. There's a social proof element to that, and then we have an FAQs at the bottom of the page here. What I would like to see a little bit more here is some indication of pricing up front, because I want to understand, is this something that I would actually pay for before I sign up for it? We want to give an indication of pricing generally for products like this before someone actually makes, even if there's a free trial, before someone actually goes into signing up for a product, because it sets the expectation. What is the value of this product? What am I going to have to pay for it per month if I do decide that I'm going to use it? So I can see in the FAQs here, we create a fully personalized pickle for each person. There's a $24 a month subscription. Okay, not too unreasonable for like something that seems pretty crazy technology. Handles a bunch of different languages, Zoom, Google Meet, a bunch of different stuff. You can create multiple pickles, and they are backed by Y-Combinator and some other venture capital funds. Yeah, all right, let's jump in. So when I go through signing up here for Pickle, you can see there is a payment option straight away. So you have to pay up front. There is no free trial of this. I think that, my assumption is that the reason that they're doing that is because it's quite intensive and expensive to train the AI model on your likeness from the 5-minute video. Like, that takes a lot of work. So they're kind of covering their costs in the training. It might be beneficial to know that from a user. So I think one thing that you can do as a way of helping users understand how your pricing model works is to explain a little bit, especially around AI products where it's often usage based, because the prompts and the requests to the AI model is what costs money, is to actually communicate like why maybe something that you would expect wouldn't be available up front. So one thing that you could do here is, instead of not having a free trial at all and just asking for payment up front, is to say like, we don't do a free trial because it takes time and costs money to train the AI model on your likeness, and we want to make sure it's really good. Like, to add that in there of like, we're charging you because we want to deliver a really good product and a service, and if you don't like it, maybe have like some sort of a refund or a refund policy around that or something. I think that's one of those things where like not a lot of people actually use it, not a lot of people actually request a refund, but it's nice to see there and to build trust. We've got some benefits here as well, so you can generate unlimited pickles, so I can keep generating different avatars, different versions of me, I guess. 10,000 minutes a month pickle usage, that seems like loads of time. How many people have 10,000 minutes of meetings a month? Also, one thing that might work quite well here is if you, when you're thinking about like getting people to sign up for your product, if you can translate like any large numbers like that into something that makes a lot more sense for people. So one thing that I might say here, instead of saying like 10,000 minutes a month of pickle usage, would be to say like 100 meetings. Like this, like try and equate it to like the number of meetings that you're having, so that people can go, because that's when people are going to be using this product, and that's another thing there about like, put it in the context of how people are going to be using the product. So for example, I can then calculate in my head very quickly, oh, I have way less than 100 meetings. That's going to easily cover like what I need, instead of trying to like calculate all of the minutes of meetings that I have every month. Your pickle will evolve on its own. That seems scary. The more it learns and upgrades itself to match your vibe and preferences. Fair enough. Is that just the way that it talks, or its mannerisms? Like if I do this a lot in the video and that I send to train my pickle, is it going to do that with my hands? I don't know how. Probably not, because hands are hard, but you know, we never know. And then community, we value conversation. So this is just like helping people like get involved. Again, like this speaks to something that is very good to do in the early stages of building a product business, is to build a community around a belief, around a product, and have a really, really engaged set of first users, because they're going to be the ones giving you the majority of feedback here, and they're going to be the ones that you can kind of lean on to make those really significant early product developments. Okay, so I'm going to carry on signing up for this. Let's get into the products. Okay, create your pickle, record a 5-minute video reading the script, download Pickle app, install the app and complete the in-app setup, use your pickle in your meeting platform. Really straightforward, I like that. This is a great intro, like getting started screen, just because it's very, very succinct. One thing that's very, very easy to do on these sort of intro screens is to use too many words and to over explain things that are complex, when actually if you can the tighter, the shorter and the more succinct that you can make these steps, often the better, because that will really help people understand exactly what they have to do. They've also made it really visual as well, so you can kind of see, even just glancing at the images, what you're going to have to do without needing to understand it in depth too much, which is great. I love it. Start pickle. Okay, create your first pickle. So here's in the app. I really like this first screen because it's so pared back and straightforward. I think one thing with these AI products where they can seem like very complex on the surface is just to make it as simple and straightforward as possible. And so here, this is the onboarding page, and this is just like, this is very, very basic. Like, you could do a way more complex and like UI heavy onboarding flow here, but actually it's just done in like three simple steps. There's a few principles that are being used here. So if you're creating an onboarding for your own product, here are some things that you can do off the back of this. Number one is that the whole screen is used for the onboarding steps. There's no other focus. It's not like a small part of a dashboard. It's like the whole screen is get started. So use that real estate and just focus the user on doing one thing at a time. The second thing here is that the first step is already ticked. So even though it's only 3 steps, this is that coffee shop loyalty card principle of if someone has already partially completed something, they are more likely to then follow through and complete all of the rest of the steps. And that is just like a psychology kind of 101 thing. So they've done the first step here is create account and have that ticked. It would be very easy to like not have that step show up and actually just have these two. But the fact that that is shown there and shown that it's already complete means that I've already completed 1 out of the 3 things. And so I'm more likely then to complete the next 2 things. So that's really good. Let's create the pickle. Okay, I'm going to stop here and then come back after I've created my pickle. Okay, so I originally stopped, but I'm actually going to record the initial steps of creating the pickle here because I think this could be potentially interesting. I'm going to create my pickle, so please name your pickle AI Chris. I could call it Chill Guy also, with a recommendation here. A little bit of humor from Pickle. Yep. Here's a really good principle following with this first question of just name your pickle. The principle is called like escalating. I don't know the catchy name for it. I call it escalating question difficulty over time. And what that means is that if a user on your product is going through a process, one really good way of helping them to complete multiple steps in a process which it might potentially be complex or long, is to ask the really simple questions first and then ask the complicated questions later. And so the simple question here is, what's the name for your pickle? Great. I'm just going to give it a name and then click decide, and that's done. And here it's going to introduce me to like the next bit, which is a little bit more complicated. But because of that principle that we previously talked about, the fact that I've already completed 1 step, I'm more likely now to continue and complete the rest of this process. So step 1, script reading. I read a script that has been given to me by Pickle, and then micro motion recording. This is for movement training. While maintaining the same posture as in step 1, you should make small random movements without moving too dramatically. I will be interested here to see if I'm interacting with a camera recording this and I do something really dramatic. That seems dramatic to me. It's not that dramatic. If it's going to be like red warning lights flashing on the screen saying, that's too dramatic. Come on, Chris, you're being too dramatic here. We said without moving too dramatically. What are you doing? So let's see how it goes. I'm going to click next. Here we go. So what does an ideal video look like? Okay, great, they're giving me some guidelines. They're doing some really good stuff here with like the images, show dynamic lip shapes. It's telling me kind of what to do. There is a lot of text here. I would say like the hierarchy of the information here is maybe a bit confused in that actually, like, because we're recording 2 videos, what I might like to see here, and this speaks to that principle of just get your users to do one thing at a time in order, rather than having to try and remember too many things, is maybe let's just do the script reading video first and show me the guidelines for that, and then once I've recorded that, maybe let's do the guidelines for the micro motion recording. I know we're going to have to like maintain the same posture between the two, but I'm not going to remember this stuff for the micro motion stuff by the time I get through 5 minutes of recording the initial video. So that would be a tip here to kind of change this journey. Okay, let's keep going. Don't do this, you'll have to re-record. Okay, so it seems like very specific criteria to be able to do this properly. I have to tick these. I have read and understood, adding a bit of friction. So one principle that they're following is like adding manual friction to try and incentivize the user to be more likely to read these. And they've actually disabled the next button here as well, so you can't continue unless you've clicked I have read and understood all of these. Now obviously I could just click through these and say I've read and understood. There we go, we're done. And I haven't read any of these. But the fact that those are there is probably going to reduce the error rate of these videos that are sent in. And the error rate for those videos is this helps from a business point of view as well. So when we're thinking about how do we design products to align with like the business case as well, where is the expense from the company side coming from? Well, the expense is coming from training the pickles from the users' videos. And if we want to automate that, the lower the error rate is of those videos, the less money we're going to have to spend out of our pocket to train these pickles for users. But also like that works hand in hand with the user benefit here as well, because the less amount of time I'm going to have to spend as a user redoing my video again and again. So if we can get that alignment between like business goals and improving the experience for the user, it's perfect. Synergy. Let's keep going. Wait, I need to actually read these so that I know what I'm doing. Let's go next. I'm going to record these and then I'll come back. So I'll come back again. I'm actually wanting to show you a little bit of this screen recording setup here. So I'm now being asked to read a script for 5 minutes as part of this process. So one thing that you can do here that's quite useful is that if there's any boring parts of your product that are required for users to go and to actually use the product, is to try and at least make them fun or enjoyable in some way. And so they've tried to do that a little bit here by like allowing me to read a different type of script, like interesting facts for adults. Maybe I'm going to choose that one because I want to see what the interesting facts are. You could also like maybe AI generate a script here, but maybe they've probably made the scripts like on purpose to have a specific like combination of vowels and consonants and words and stuff. So yeah, that was just one thing I wanted to mention. If I choose that, here I've got my scary face on the screen with the teleprompter. So yeah, let me record the video and I'll come back. Okay, so I created my pickle, I did the video. One thing I wanted to just show you, just to jump back in, of like, this is now loading, or like preparing the videos for training. Creating a pickle is totally free. That's not true because I did pay money to sign up for the service, so a bit of a strange loading screen message there. What I wanted to mention was that when I recorded my video and doing the pickle, is that the video file then downloaded to my Mac. And I think that's important because one of the things that is maybe quite scary with some of these AI products is that feeling that like I'm giving my data or my likeness away for someone else to use, because people don't really understand these AI tools and AI products yet. Is it going to be used by someone else? Like, how is this going to be used? I'm not going to read the terms and conditions fully to fully understand that, and maybe that's a bit scary. So at least me having a copy of that video gives me some sort of sense of ownership over that content that I've created, which is quite nice. I think a lot of the way that these AI products are going to succeed or fail is in the way that they feel to use, which is something intangible, but you can design. Because if everybody can create these AI products using whatever tools are available out there, eventually, like one day I go to Lovable and I say, create a Pickle competitor that's better. And it just creates it. But the thing that is going to stand out is the way that these products feel to use. And so I think thinking about that feeling that a user is going to have, do they feel like scared or worried or anxious, or like they don't have ownership, or they're not in control? The way those feelings are created is going to be something that's going to be really important to get right, to have a lasting AI product. Okay, so training will take about 1 day. We'll email you once it's ready. Return home or create another pickle. Let's return home. That's now saying that that's training on that step. So I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to come back tomorrow when I've got my pickle, and we're going to see if AI can replace me on Zoom. Alright, this is a couple of days later. My pickle has been generated. I've now downloaded the Pickle app to my MacBook, and it's going to take me through installing Pickle as a camera that I can use to join meetings with my AI avatar that's been created, AI Chris that I've created. So let's go through the product from here. So how to use Pickle. Choose your mic and press the power button to activate your pickle. Choose your mic and press the power button. Let's go next. Okay, that makes sense. To share your console screen with your meeting app, select Pickle camera and Pickle microphone as input sources. So when I installed this, it asked me to basically give access to Pickle to use the microphone that I'm kind of speaking into now, as a way of capturing the audio and then putting it through my avatar's kind of mouth, I guess. And then the last one here, use buttons, mute and unmute your voice input, and mirror the Pickle view. That's, I assume, to make it look the right way around for you, basically. Okay, let's do okay. We've got my Pickle here that I generated, so let's have a look at how we use this. So what I'm going to do here is, I think we go how to use. Okay, so this is like what we've got in this product here, in the app that you've downloaded and installed, is an actual how to use guide. That's kind of like a this looks like, what it is basically a demo of the product, of how I would use it in maybe it is, maybe it isn't, of how I would use it in a Zoom call or a Google Meet or any other kind of video call software. So you go power on. Here we go. What I want to see here is actually as well is like, is it gonna just use the background from this video for my avatar? Or is it can I create, like, put my avatar in different scenarios or different settings, like you would choose like a background on Zoom or anything else? So voice isolation one-time setup, click microphone or video, then click mic mode and select voice isolation. Okay, so I'm not sure. So this is powered on. So let's select the mic. Power off to switch microphone. Okay, let's turn this off. I could see that had started to move there. So it looks like it's just in the background that I've created. So let's change this to the microphone that I'm using. Turn it back on. And then basically, I think as I'm talking here, it's going to talk for me through my avatar. You can just see the full messy background of the room there. Let's see what happens. Okay, so he's moving around fairly naturally. If I I'm speaking now, but it's not actually doing anything through my avatar. So this is useful if you're wanting to mirror your own room setup, basically. So I'm going to turn this off. If I can mirror that, I can flip it around. Let's turn this off for a second. I'm going to go into Pickle Studio. Say anything with the video. With Pickle, create talking videos is incredibly easy. Okay, so you can so I can create talking videos here where I'm going through, I'm going through something with an alternate video source. A lot of this stuff feels like it's inactive when I'm actually trying to do it, or I can just record the avatar view. That could be an interesting use case. So I think I wasn't aware of that when I went through here. It could be good for doing, if you want to do a talking head style video and maybe you're recording it somewhere when you're not at home or on the toilet or I don't know, somewhere else. I guess it feels like the primary use case for this product is for people to take calls when they're either driving the car, walking the dog, or sitting on the toilet to join meetings. And maybe it's oh, I want to join a meeting. I would imagine that maybe a lot of people using this won't actually be talking through their avatar. Maybe one or two words in a meeting to say see you later, guys. At the end. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, what I'm going to try doing next is I'm going to try using this in in a video call software. So let's jump over to something else. I'm in Google Meet here, okay? So now that I'm in Google Meet, you can see me moving around twice here because I've got Screen Studio going as well. So what I can do here is I can change my camera to, you saw there, if I go into camera, it's the option there, Pickle Camera. I want to have a look at the microphone and the sound as well. So Pickle Microphone Virtual. So I think for this to work, I'm going to have to put Pickle Microphone. And then for this to work, I have to change to Pickle Camera. And hopefully this is going to load my AI avatar. No, something's not working. Check your laptop or camera for a switch in your software that your camera might be blocked. Okay, this is not a good sign. So my Pickle is on. So okay, so I think what I have to do is I have to turn it on in Pickle. I think this is just me being a bit silly and not remembering instructions. So I think you have to turn the Pickle camera on in the app before you then connect to it on a video call. There you go. Can I close that and will that still work? No. Okay, so you have to have that. That will actually close. So let's come back in here, turn this back on again. It is my Pickle avatar is running, my AI avatar is now on this meeting. The voice is not connected for some reason. The microphone is not working, even though I selected Pickle microphone. If I do this to my microphone that I'm talking into, it's still not working. So something's not working with the microphone here. Also, can I want to see, can I blur the background on this like I would on a call? Yes, amazing. So this is he's moving around a lot. Maybe I moved too much when I did the video. It feels like a little bit unnatural. He's moving so much. It looks pretty realistic though. Sometimes my jaw disconnects from itself. So I think people would notice that this is slightly weird. They'd be like, Chris is looking weird. What's going on? His jaw seems to it's like a snake. He's disconnecting his jaw and then his mouth is moving weirdly. Something's up with the camera. Let me go back to Pickle and see if I can get the microphone working. Okay. So I think I selected the wrong microphone here. Hello. Oh. Okay, so now, there we go, see? You can't hear the words, but it looks like I'm just speaking into my microphone. I can go anywhere here. I can go into a different room. I just leaned back in my chair. It's not that far. But you can see my avatar is now speaking for me in my meeting. But it looks weird. It's still not there yet. So I think one thing with these kind of AI video tools, especially at the moment, is that they feel like it's so close to like being there. In terms of the video like looking right, I can imagine like in 6 months to a year, this is gonna look so much better than this. What I'm still a little bit confused about here is that what is the main use case for this? Maybe it's like, it might be useful if it's like in a big meeting and my doorbell goes, but I want to still like have my camera on. But in that situation, I think it's usually okay to just like turn your camera off, maybe leave a message in the chat, and then go and get the door, if you don't have to like be 100% involved in the meeting. The other use case here is like, I've got a call, but I need to walk the dog, or I need to drive to pick my kids up from school, or something else that you need to do where maybe you're going to be multitasking. But in that instance, I feel like you should, my feeling for that is like, just cancel the meeting or move the meeting to a different time and just actually be fully present and here, like speaking to the person naturally in the meeting, because this does feel a bit weird. And it does also feel, I think for me, it's like there's undertones of like deception. Like am I deceiving like the people who are on this video call here? Am I like it's kind of like a bit manipulative of like, you don't know where I really am. I'm secretly walking my dog. So I'm not 100% sure that I'm like fully into this. One thing that we have answered here is that like, AI can replace me on a video call, but it can't replace my voice yet. So maybe that is something that they're also working on in the future, that like you could record your voice and hypothetically like replace. That is it's kind of interesting, and it's also kind of like terrifying in the fact that like multiple people could join a meeting and multiple people could be using like an AI representation of themselves and then having that conversation and also taking notes from that meeting using AI to then come out to then for someone not even on the call to just like get all the notes out of the discussion that happened in that meeting. It wouldn't be like 100%. It wouldn't be the same as like having a conversation between two people, but something would come out of that, I think, in a really corporate setting maybe, or yeah, there's probably some use cases in there that I can't think of at the moment for like an AI meeting, a meeting of like AI avatars of all of these people like at a company or at a startup. So it's definitely really interesting, but at the moment I think slightly unnerving, and I'm not sure what the use case is. All right, so we've replaced ourselves with AI on meetings, partially using Pickle. I'm now going to go through some key insights and takeaways from the product, whether this can actually replace you, which I think we've answered already. Mostly no, or like kind of, and also just give my concluding thoughts on Pickle as a product. So that was my review of Pickle, the AI tool that can partially replace you in meetings at the moment, mainly just your avatar, and your voice still needs to be there. I want to go through my 3 kind of key pieces of insight from this product. So the first piece of insight here is that if you have a complex or really detailed like step-by-step onboarding process, you need to be really clear explicit at each step and just focus on one thing at a time to kind of guide the user through that process. Pickle do it really, really well in most places. There was a couple of areas where I found it a little bit confusing to kind of set things up and get your camera working on the meeting and the Zoom. So there's definitely still some room for improvement there. I think the second piece of insight here is that you also need to be really, really clear with these new AI products about what is the use case for this, or at least show examples of use cases that other people are doing. So if I'm going to replace myself with an AI avatar on a video call, then when would I use that? When would I do that? And how do I help other people on the call either understand what's happening or not do it in a deceiving way? I think there's still some ambiguity there around, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Are you deceiving people? It feels slightly strange. So they need to address that kind of like feeling issue around this of like, I don't want to feel like I'm being deceptive to people. So how can I do this in a way that feels right, and also where the other people aren't kind of being tricked into me just being there with my AI avatar, or feel like, oh, there's something weird about this person, there's something off about this person, because you definitely do get that sense from that avatar. And then the third piece of insight here is to not charge for AI products up front. I think you need to do at least some level of a trial or something that where the user can kind of see exactly how this works and experience it for themselves, because there is still a gap between what I know to be possible or what I think to be possible and then what the products can actually do. So when you go into Pickle, you do actually get a kind of example pickle that you can turn on or off, and I think maybe that would be a really good thing for them to do first, so that you can kind of sign up, use the example pickle, even if that's not your own avatar, because I appreciate from a business point of view there's probably a high cost in training the AI to create your AI avatar for your personal avatar. But even if I can test it as maybe someone else's avatar to start off with, I can then make that decision. Do I want to train my own? Is this something that I could potentially use? How does it feel? And is it something that I'm comfortable using? And then you kind of make the decision to pay for my avatar if I do want to keep using that product. So would I use Pickle? Probably not, I don't think. I think the value of that human conversation and being very, very real and present in meetings is really important for me. I would just say, if you are trying to multitask, if you are trying to join a video call and you're driving a car or walking the dog, maybe just move the meeting to a different time and actually be there in person. But that's just me. Maybe other people think differently. Maybe other people don't need to be fully present in the meeting at all times, and maybe that's the right use case for it. So I wouldn't particularly use it, but that's kind of my take on the product. If you like the video, then you can subscribe for more content like this. You can go to my website at buildgreatproducts.com to sign up for the newsletter for new product teardowns every week. And otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.